Welcome back. There you go.
Is the culture.
Another incredible morning with the two idiots that could. Just kidding.
I'm glad to know the way you feel about me, Marco.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright,
How you
so
feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah?
I feel like we should recap everybody. This is the first day that we actually have the podcast going, and you'll be able to watch that hopefully at the end of the week, the weekend, the beginning of next week, who knows?
Right. I mean, I'm hoping I'm going to be the master dummy behind editing here, so we got 3 cameras now. I'm hopefully edit all the footage from these cameras into one giant podcast and put it on the YouTube channel by next week. I hope. No promises, but I'm going to do my best to get it all done.
And we are very thankful that Marco can do that because Kyle is very inept.
It's good old iMovie, man. It has its ups and downs for sure.
Not everyone can work technology, Marco.
Oh, man.
No. I thought we'd give you guys a little recap of what went on last week during our... I mean, only the people who are listening to the radio right now and listened last week will know what we were talking about because all the footage is lost. It's lost. It's gone forever.
Whoopsies.
And it was mainly because we didn't save to the SD card and we saved it to the memory on the camera, and it was already half full, so after 30 minutes it just shut off. And that's my bad because I should have seen the red dot go away.
Right. It's a good classic example of just
being inept.
Whoopsies.
But no, what we were talking about last week was, the creative process and how we deal with that, and we thought we'd touch back on that today, a little how-to kind of video, and also, like, getting started with the writing process and that stuff, and maybe where we left off last week with going green and stuff, but we'll all see how the next hour goes.
Right, whenever we need to go on a tangent, we'll just bring up going green.
Well, there'll be plenty of tangents. Don't tell them that there's not gonna be. All right, Marco, you wanna start off with a little blurb about the club?
Yeah, a little blurb about the club. All right, so Kyle and I we have been working on and are still working on a hip-hop club, which is going to be called The Culture, same title as the show. It's going to be Plymouth's first hip-hop club ever. So along with that comes a lot of pushing through like brick walls in our face, pushing through a lot of people who may doubt or not know what we're trying to do. But essentially what we're trying to do is create a culture, a group of people who are all either recording artists, looking to be recording artists, instrumentalists, producers, vocalists, this and that, all sorts of people who just want to develop and connect with other people and grow as an artist. So this club, we hope, is gonna create a little community, a little group of people who can connect, who can create a lot of great things, and the whole point behind this club is to lead up for and build up and work and develop performance skills to finally have a large festival-style big concert at the end of every semester. Along with that comes its fair share of challenges that we're going to face and get through, like we have been doing so far. But right now we're just in the waiting stages to hear from the higher-ups at the school, which is a frustrating and stressful kind of thing because we can't really do anything right now besides wait and try to reach out to people as many times as we can, but it's kind of like out of our hands right now. So we're getting there. We're moving along one day at a time, and we hope that within the next few weeks the Culture, Plymouth's first hip hop club, will be getting going and getting off the ground.
And Marco, I'm 90% sure I told you this, but it also could have been a conversation I had with myself in my head about how I talked to Randy this morning upstairs.
Cool.
And he was just filling me in on like what his place in the process is, because I know that he's in charge of a lot of student orgs and stuff, and figured if anybody would know where the student senate is at, that he would know. but he said that it's really up to them, and they really don't tell them anything until they're ready to approve a club. So we're gonna have to, I don't know, maybe send an email, push forward a little more so that we can get this thing going, because we came up with the idea like before winter break last year, and then we started working on it and meeting together and trying to form this and talk to people and reach out, and then we were like, you know what, let's submit to become a club. We did, and they weren't ready to meet with us. They said they'd meet with us in the first 3 weeks of school, and if not 3 weeks, 5 weeks. We're in the 6th week right now. 6-week grades are coming out. We haven't heard a single thing, and we resubmitted our registration. So
yeah,
it's just a waiting game right now. But we've got a solid, I don't know, 10 people right now.
Right. I mean, if it was as easy as getting a group of people together and putting them into one room and just get going, we'd already be going through a process
We'd be
right
a
now.
cult.
Yeah, we would be a total group. We'd be a group mentality, everybody thinking the same way, but unfortunately the
Doesn't
school
work that way.
Yeah, the school wants to make everything complicated, because what else do they do? But yeah.
But now back to
Back to
creativity.
Right, back to creativity. Good stuff. That's
I like to think that creativity is the basis of this show. Like,
yeah.
It's the glue that holds this show together, because without creativity, we never would have thought to record this. Like, we would probably just be playing music on the radio right now.
Yeah.
So, and sorry to anybody who wants to be listening to music right now. You can just shut us off. Like, turn on to another channel. But we will play a little music today.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a little feature from Marco, a little featurette.
Yeah.
And then we'll dissect that.
Yeah, do you want to do that first and then
Yeah,
talk
sure,
about the creative
why not?
process? All right, cool. So I'm going to play a song. You can keep that there. Keep it plugged in, yeah. I'm going to do a little song in a minute. I'm going to do a little blurb. I recorded this last night, actually, and although this song I'm going to play isn't in its core base, like true hip-hop, underground stuff, it's totally a different style of genre than what I'm used to working in. However, I think it's a really good example of kind of the creative process going into, in this case, a different genre, or just writing and coming up with a topic for a song. So I'm going to toss on a song in a quick second. I'm going to just figure out some stuff.
Crowding my space, Marco.
I know.
If you guys watch the podcast, you'll get to see what he's doing right now.
Cool. Yeah,
Touching me.
So we're gonna fade in. This song is called Firefly, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I can talk.
Cool. We're figuring out technical issues right now.
Yeah, this was the same technical issues we were having earlier. Playing stuff. It's playing.
Cool. It is playing. Cool. Awesome. Great. We just didn't hear.
We just have the microphones on, so we can't hear it in here.
Ah, perfect. All right, cool. So this song is called Firefly by myself.
And we're going to turn off the microphones just so we can hear it, so that we can listen with you and
Right.
dissect it.
Absolutely. I'm gonna do some promotional shit, because, you know. this is
We're
cool
still
shit.
on the podcast right now.
Yeah, I know, that's all right.
Are you allowed to swear on this fucking
Oh,
thing?
no.
Gotta know the difference. That's the biggest thing for me. Wanna watch me go on my phone? Margo, we're still filming. Maybe this one can go on my Instagram. Are these real drums?
No, this is just the beat I found, to be honest.
I feel like you should remake the beat with real drums. Like, just make this your real song.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Have Will play the guitar,
Yeah.
have Parrish play the drums. Because do you have drums at the cabin barn?
The barn? Yeah, we do.
So then,
Yeah.
I don't see what's holding you back.
I know.
Will could recreate this easily.
Easy.
Otherwise, I like it.
Thanks.
And I've been talking to the camera
Cool.
while you were gone.
Awesome. I gotta do a snap.
Maybe you can put it on my Instagram. Like, send me a little snippet because I've been acting weird.
Right, that's fine.
No. Marco, you said damn.
Hey.
You said damn.
I said damn?
Yeah. Swears.
Oh, man. Alrighty, so that was Firefly by myself. Yeah, it was a really, essentially the whole point behind that song was I was trying to write a song about, I was trying to write a love song essentially, but I put it to a beat beforehand that seemed really, really cheesy, and I recorded half of it, and I got really frustrated because of how cheesy it sounded, and I was kind of on a dead set mission to make another love song that wasn't as cheesy and a little bit more fun to bop your head to. So I ended up stumbling across that beat, and 20 minutes later I had a song written, and then I just hopped in the studio the next day.
Well, Marco, like I was telling Marco, the people on the podcast will see this because we were still filming, but I was telling Marco while we were off the air that I really think that it's a good song. I like it. There's nothing I don't like about it. I love when he sings more because it's more of like, it's different. He didn't used to do that a lot, guys. You don't know.
They don't know.
But also I said that he has the resources to record that, like remake that beat with his own drums. We have a friend that plays the drums. We have a friend that plays the guitar. Anything else he can do, and I said I think he should make like a live version of it.
Yeah.
Because that I feel like that's a dream for a rapper, like, because no one really wants to work with a rapper like that. Like,
right.
There's Chance, Kanye, they work with real instrumentalists and stuff.
Right.
But a lot of people nowadays work with beat makers like Metro Boomin and why am I blanking on
That's all right.
some of
That's
these?
right. Eminem does it a lot too. So, yeah, right now it's like I'm in the stage with that song specifically and a bunch of other songs.
Murder
where,
Beats, sorry.
No, that's fine. Where I find these instrumentals and I either download them from a producer's website or I pull them off YouTube, and if they have free in the title, or if it's kind of mentioned that you can grab and use these beats for non-profit use, that's exactly what I do. So I would just grab these beats, I record the best song I possibly can to make the beat sound good, to make myself sound good, and they're posted onto, right now, just SoundCloud and YouTube, and I don't make a penny off of anything that I make or release, but right now that is totally okay, because you have to create music and create it for the love of just creating it before you even think about making any sort of money whatsoever. So right now that's kind of where I'm headed with that song, but as Kyle was saying, I think if I had a full instrumental kind of remake in a sense and made it kind of more original and kind of adjusted a few things so it's not just a blatant copy of that beat, but to make it the same key, make the same BPM, and have some live instrumentalists with some really good friends of mine and re-record, and I think I could probably take that same song and concept and toss it on an actual album to
You can
publish.
even take the vocals off of that one as long as you get like the same timing on everything else.
Right, and I think that would be awesome.
But that's kind of the creative stuff that we bring each other. Like, he'll show me something and I'll give my input, and I'll show him something and he'll give his input. But it's a lot of That sounds great. Yeah.
Yep.
We're not even close to getting it finished. So, and there's some, dude, chill. That one's not it, but
Right.
not often.
Right.
Because we're both just geniuses. Like,
I think both
Kidding.
of us really have what it. I mean, essentially, I don't want to say what it takes, but I think both of us have the number one key in being an artist, and that's passion. Legitimately loving this more than anything that we've ever experienced. You know, this is, but especially at this point, you know, we're in school for it, and we're doing so much extra stuff for it that it's our life, and there's no. For me, at least, there's no turning back. Like, this is just, this is my life, this is what I want to do, and it's, you know, you can obviously hear it in the music, you can hear it in the way we speak about this, and how much effort and dedication, waking up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and
doing this
stuff, which is awesome. I'm so grateful to be able to do this.
And while we love doing this, and we do this because we want to reach out to people and inspire people, and really just give our own thoughts on hip-hop and the creative process and all that, it's also to promote ourselves. Like, why would we do this, like, if we didn't want ourselves to be on camera, if we didn't want ourselves to be on the air? Like,
right,
we're doing this to promote ourselves, to get more comfortable in talking. Like, we're very aware that there's a crowd out there, like, whether it's 2 people, whether it's 200, like, that's what we try to get ourselves used to, because it's tough. Like, I know I have anxiety about stuff like that all the time, and before our show last week, I was nervous.
Yeah, me too. You could see, it was funny when I was editing a little bit of footage, and you could see in the very beginning, right before we started, you could just see the fear in both of our eyes, just kind of as we were getting going, not really sure what we were doing, and not like we know what we're doing now or anything, but
we have a better idea.
Yeah,
because we failed and we fixed that, and
right.
That's such an important part of not just being an artist, but being a person. Like,
yeah.
If you want to be successful, you gotta learn from all the times you mess up, and you gotta be okay with messing up. Like, I was falling asleep last night thinking about, like, how many times I messed up, and, like, I don't think I get upset with it anymore. It's like, at first I'll be upset, of course. Like, right after it happens, I'll feel awkward or upset. But I've started to learn to let things go, and I'm just like, you know what? If you messed that up, if you failed, it's a learning process. It's a learning curve. It's something for you to learn from, and you weren't meant to pass it on the first time. So.
Right. I try to look at failures as an opportunity to really develop on something that you weren't as developed before. Because if you failed at something, then, you know, that means there's some sort of hole, there's a loophole, there's something, you know, something that you obviously didn't do right. So when you fail, like, yeah, some failures are pretty difficult to deal with. Some failures are pretty easy to deal with. But despite what the failure is like, the whole idea of falling down and getting back up again is ridiculously important. It's right in here, but and plus, that's what the whole music industry is about anyways. Like, we haven't even scratched the surface with the industry, on the industry side of things, and the industry is just a bunch of snakes coming to bite your ankles, and sometimes they bite your ankles, and they bite your ankle pretty good, and you gotta figure out how to shake them off and keep walking,
or you gotta live with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I was watching something from Lil Yachty the other day. He was doing an interview, and he was saying how, like, he's so happy that he didn't just sign a deal, that he worked with people that he knows and is comfortable with, and there's a lot of people who didn't do that and are stuck in contracts and stuff, and where they're not getting, well, they got the money up front that they wanted, they got rich real quick, but they didn't get the creative freedom that they wanted. Like, Logic signed with people he knows, that he likes, but you think, I don't want to say Lil Tecca because I don't know what's going on with him. He just said that he wants to retire, but I know, look at Lil Uzi, got himself into a contract because of the money, and then was upset and was not happy with the contract that he was in, and that's something that we can learn from other people. Like, of course I want to get signed and stuff, but I'm gonna be wary at first. Like, if I have followers, like, moving forward, then I'm gonna be happy with the followers I have, and I'm not gonna just jump the first time someone wants to sign me, because if I have fans, they want my fans. The people who are gonna sign me want my fans,
Sure.
and that's really what it's all about. It's all about the people listening. So thank you.
Yeah, and it's also, like, personally, I know I'm not signing any deal until I know I have 100% full creative control and freedom over anything that I want to make, who I want to work with, when I want to release it, what I want it to look like and sound like, how many tracks, or this and that. That was the number one thing that, and just learning from Logic's experience of signing to Def Jam and eventually Visionary Music Group, was that the number one thing that was, above everything else, above the money, above everything, it was all about creative freedom, creative control, because that's essentially being an artist, having the creative freedom to do whatever you want, express yourself. And it's kind of one of those things that you want to, if somebody with a suit walks up and hands you a piece of paper saying, I'm going to offer you this kind of money, you don't want to put any ink down until you know what every single word of that contract means.
Until you or a lawyer reads that.
Right.
And I just want to focus on one thing right there. It doesn't always have to be a suit, because I have a friend that I work with over the summer, and he has a friend who he wanted to link me up with because he's a rapper and stuff, and he didn't just, like, it doesn't have to, I don't want to say friends. I don't really know this guy, but it's people that he knew, like, he was a little more comfortable with than a label. They said that they could help him, and from what I've heard, I don't want to, this is speculation off of the stuff that I've heard from our shared friend, but they took away his creative freedom. They want him to make bops. They don't want him to make music. They want him to make bops. Yeah. And they will only promote and work with him as long as he does what they want. And this guy is not even making, he's making some money, but not a lot.
Right.
And that you got to be careful for stuff like that. I know he'll be careful in the future, but when I first heard about his situation, I was like, yo, I got a boy who wants to start a label, and I would help him get on that, because I know my friend will give creative freedom.
Right.
All he cares about is building A, his business, and B, his friends. And they're tied together. It's not separated. They're tied together. And that's what you look for, is people like that who look out not just for themselves but for others.
Right.
And there's, from my experience, I don't know a whole lot of people who can do that. And 2 of them are sitting in this room.
Oh, yeah. There's it's very easy, especially in the hip hop genre, but this goes for any genre of music or any fame actually. But it's very easy to get blinded by the materialistic things, the money, the fast cars and big houses and beautiful women, this and that. It's very easy to get blinded by that.
People come.
Yeah, right. And because that stuff really spawns a mentality of, just me, myself, and I doing, going after this money, making this, which, to get me wrong, there's a time and place for that. But the whole foundation, the whole reason why you should be doing it is because you want to make music. You want to be an artist. You want to help change the world, or spread a message, or spread a sort of energy. And you can't really change the whole world by, making one song. Although, people have done that. There's been random cases, people blowing up overnight. But, nothing really worth having is easy to get. And especially fame or a respected position as an artist in any genre, but in this case hip-hop, you have to do it because you love it and because you pursued it. And the whole point of the reason why you'll enjoy yourself at the end of the line when you have all your dreams attained is because the journey to get there was so long and was so difficult, and you worked, and so difficult and also enjoyable because you worked and you failed and you got up and you kept working, you developed, you learned new things. As you kind of learn new stuff and you grow as an artist, you start to find your music becomes better, and you start to become more comfortable with yourself as a human and yourself in your music. It's something that I've really experienced a lot in the past few months, and I think from there, once you just develop, and if you just keep creating it for the sake of the love, then it's gonna happen naturally, and something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna walk up to you and offer you something. You're gonna have a gig. The best example of this, I think, is there's an artist by the name of John Bellion who's signed to the Visionary Music Group, the same label as Logic, and he always says the same thing. Like you have to write thousands of songs. You need to spend hours and hours and hours doing what you love simply because you love it, and no other motive other than that. And eventually it's just going to happen naturally. It's the law of attraction. You put so much energy and love and goodness and time into something, and you focus a lot of energy into one thing, the universe is going to reciprocate that energy back to you.
Some people call it karma.
Yeah.
That's usually what I call it, is you put the good energy out there, it's going to come back to you. But if you put bad energy out there,
That's going to come back.
That's going to come back to you too. Like, I believe that giving back will help you to get your goals. Like, if you plant a tree, then good luck will come to you. If you give to the homeless, if you do a random act of kindness, then something out of the kindness of someone else's heart or the goodness out of the world is going to happen to you, because you didn't just put bad energy out there. It is proven that energy affects us. Like, if I was just mean to Marco all the time and he had to put up with that, he would be mean back. His goodness wouldn't be able to stay very long with me being mean all the time. And I've been in situations like that where your mind starts to just make you, like, you get angry, you get mad, you get upset, and you get mean, because that's what you're given. That's what people give to you, and you got to break that. And it's tough. It's really tough to break that cycle and be like, you know what? I'm letting go of that. But once you do, there's no turning back. You've got to just stick to your guns and be kind and happy and nice to people just because that's who you are.
Right. And I'm not going to say any names, but recently I was in a situation where I was hanging out with someone, and we were both in a really great mood, and we were both laughing and joking around, and another person entered the room, and within the first 10 seconds, we didn't even talk to this person or really say much to this person, but within the first 10 seconds you could just feel that that person was not in a good mood. They were angry and they were upset, and quite frankly, it just kind of changed the whole energy of the room. It kind of affected us too. Originally we were happy before, and then all of a sudden we realized, oh, somebody's upset. It can't really joke around as much anymore, and it's just such a clear example of how energy can really affect us. So.
I'm not going to say that it happens to everybody. I'd say it happens to the more empathetic people, like people who are like, oh, I don't want to joke or be happy around someone who can't feel that right now. But like, honestly, that's me. Some people don't care if you're joking and stuff around them. They're going to be upset no matter what. But I don't know. There's a lot of contributing factors, and I've been there. If someone's in a bad mood, it's very easy to put me in a bad mood because I feel for them.
Right.
And my parents say it's just a big heart, but I know it's just being empathetic and caring for everybody. But I think the next thing that me and Marco are gonna try and talk about is the writing process and how we approach writing, because sometimes it's difficult for people, and I know writing can be difficult. I know, like, wanting to write, I don't know. There's a lot of things that people don't like about writing. But it's not all English class writing. It's just writing whatever you want. Writing goals, like writing songs, writing anything. Writing a letter to your future self. Writing a letter to someone to express your feelings even when you can't send it to them. Like, any writing, how do you approach it? And I'm going to let you answer that first.
Yeah, so I believe right now we live in a world that's very easily with a lot of negativity, a lot of stress, a lot of chaos, and I think that chaos can really affect a lot of us if you let it. For me, I try to take that chaos that I feel from the world, and I take the emotions that I feel in myself. I happen to be just a very passionate, emotional person. I can't help it. My emotions come out all the time, and it's just who I am. So I try to channel, instead of being so expressive and explosive with my emotions in front of everybody and all that. I try to control that and throw that right into music. So
see, I'm not so good at that.
and that's fine. To each his own. So personally, I'll find an instrumental. I'm the kind of artist where I need an instrumental before I do lyrics. I can write lyrics just a cappella or write a poem and convert it into more of a rhythmic passage, but usually, more times than not, I find an instrumental first and write lyrics to it. And usually the tone of the instrumental, if I'm producing the instrumental myself or if I find it or I get it from another producer, usually the tone of the instrumental is what direction I go in with lyrics.
Yeah, it dictates.
Right, exactly. If there's a slower song, I'm going to write a slower... If there's a slower instrumental, I'm going to write a slower, sadder lyric. But yeah, I could spend way too long rambling about the technical aspects of it, but I'm going to do an elevator pitch of it. So essentially, you want to know your basic structure of a song: verse, chorus, bridges, refrains, intros and outros, this and that. And you always want to think of the listener, somebody who has never heard your music before. Would they be entertained with the structure of the song that you're putting forth? So you can't just, you totally can. You can do whatever you want, but you're more likely to have someone more entertained by your music if you actually put a catchy chorus, a nice verse that keeps the flow going, and and lyrically you are getting somewhere. You're actually saying something. Like I said, catchy chorus, a bridge. You're more likely to have more listeners actually really listen to the very end if you keep the actual structure of the song refreshing and keeping the melodies coming back and introducing new material while reminding people of the old material earlier in the song. You're more likely to get more people listening to that than just putting on a beat and rapping one solid verse for 3 minutes straight. There's an audience for that, absolutely, and there's people who will appreciate that, and you will, and maybe obviously you who creates it will appreciate it too. But when you're trying to you're trying to think of your audience that you're trying to play out for, and in my case, I'm trying to play out for an audience who ranges from all sorts of corners of the world, all different colors and races from different places. And look, I'm riding different places and races and on different chases, whatever. But my audience, I'm trying to be a whole. Everybody is who I'm trying to put forth. So I'm trying to create music and songs that are a variety of genres. Like, for example, I just played a song that kind of was an indie rock, early 2000s rock ballad kind of thing. But maybe tonight or tomorrow I'll go record a reggae track, and then the next day I'll record an old school boom bap track. I'll record a track where I'm spitting so fast I don't even know what I'm saying sometimes. And I think when going into the writing process, you really have to think of the audience, you have to think of the structure of the song, you have to think of what you want to say. There's so much music out there that's just random thoughts, stuff that's not really real, this and that. Time and place for it, yeah, absolutely. But really think about what do you want to do as an artist? Who are you? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to convey? These are all really important things to think about just when writing a chorus or writing any sort of line. I can go on, but go for it.
Well, as Marco learned last week, I'm writing 2 books. I like to write just stories and stuff, and I think the way that I approach stuff is more of a different way. Like, let's say I'll do the music and then the books. So with music, I'm always thinking of rhymes in my head, and if they're good enough, I'll write them down, and then if they could go on a song, I find a beat and I try to fit them onto whatever one I like. But yeah, the mood from the song dictates a lot of what I write, and I approach a lot of writing by just plopping myself down, listening, and then freestyling, and then plucking words and sentences out of the freestyle to create a more cohesive project.
Do you write the lyrics first and then think of the flow, or do you kind of build the flow and then do lyrics?
It works both ways for me. Sometimes I'll be freestyling over a track, and then I'll take something from the freestyle, and then other times I'll write something before and find the beat to fit it.
Yeah.
And it really, yeah, it's very difficult, like, sometimes.
Yeah.
But and sometimes I've got thousands of lyrics that I've written down that I'll never use because, one, they weren't good enough to fit on a song, or two, that they just don't fit on anything that I like. So, and then there's the books. I've got to force myself to sit down and write them sometimes. I haven't touched them in like a month or so, but they, the creative ideas that they came out of are kind of a different conversation, but I pretty much got everything from the ideas. Like, I saw the big picture, and then I'm shrinking it down, and I'm kind of just, I have to picture it as I go on. As I'm writing, I have to see it, and I don't think everybody can do that, and I know it's difficult, but a lot of people, most people can do it if they sit down and think. They can picture something and describe it, and honestly, you don't need to have the best vocabulary, the biggest vocabulary. First time you write something, it should always just be written down, your thoughts, and then you can go in and add more detail and flesh things out more, because you'd never think that it has to be perfect on the first time. Like, I'm still trying to fight with that. Like, oh, it should be perfect when I write it down the first time, but it's not going to be. My grandmother writes books too, and she's been writing the same book for like 50 years.
Wow.
Like, she's, like, of course she's got jobs and family and stuff that holds her back from writing it, because she's not a full-time writer, but when she does write, it's always just, she writes it, she adds stuff, she's always constantly adding stuff, and she's always constantly going back, reading it, editing it, and separating it to see, well, does it really belong in my book, or should I take it out and put it in a new book, a second book? And I don't know if she'll ever finish it, and perhaps I'll be lucky and I'll be the one to have it, because I believe I'm going to be the one to own the sole copy. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's really cool, and I think, like, if you had that situation happen, maybe it'd be up to you to see what you wanted to do with it, or, you know, if you wanted to actually publish it. Writing things down. Personally, I'm someone who likes to write things down physically. I have, like, physical rhyme books, actual little notebooks. At home, there's probably a stack of 20 or so just notebooks and stuff, just back and forth pages, filled.
Marco.
I know, right? I know, it's not... but I feel like there's something about writing physical lyrics and literally letting the idea come from my head and go out through my hand into the pen. And I found myself when I'm writing, I think of a line first, and as I think of that line, I'll take the idea and I'll be like, how can I make what I'm saying the most artistic, kind of like creative and beautiful way of wording it. So in my mind, before writing it down on the page, a line will go through like 2 or 3 filter processes in my mind to figure out different ways. Can I connect this word to the rhyme beforehand, or, you know, I start connecting stuff like a puzzle.
But songs are different. Like, I'm sure that you do this too, but like, I usually write it down on my phone, and then after I write it down, and once I've got the whole song and I'm out of beat, I go back to the beginning, and I spit it again, I sing it again, whatever, and I'm deleting words and adding words and fixing words and syllables and all that, and breaking it down, and then, only then will I have the final copy once I'm done that process, and that's when it's ready to record, is when that last editing process that would happen. Because I do too. I do go through filters in my head where I'm like, okay, no, that one. But I know it's difficult when it's on paper, because then you gotta like scratch things out and write things in with the little carrots.
Yep.
From elementary school. Carrots.
It's funny. You'll see some pages are almost comedic, because there'll be like one line and then all sorts of scribbles and then another line, and it's it's really interesting. I think finding the rhythmic process of what you're writing and all that, and and lining up syllables with whatever flow that you're working with. That's like a puzzle. That's like Tetris. That's like calculations in your head, really finding what sounds good. Some like a lot of times I'll really line up. I love lining up certain syllables with snares. You know, if you have a boom cut, I'll like make sure my syllables line up with the actual ka part. And it's cool thinking of when you're freestyling. I like to think of that's basically showing off your basic. Freestyles can get very complex, but I like to think of freestyling as really it's that filtration process of that filtration process of writing in kind of you're basically letting your first thoughts come out, your first rhymes come out without even filtering them. So freestyle is just going. I'm thinking next week we should probably throw on a beat and freestyle. We'll
do an example.
We'll do an example next week. This week we're not as prepared.
This is still our second week on air. Right. Last week was our very first try, and I hope we're doing well for you guys.
Exactly. We're kind of started basic with just doing a normal podcast of talking. This time we played some original music.
We're branching out more.
Next week we'll start, actually expressing our own music in here, in studio, live. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so a little touch up what I was just saying. The freestyling is really your basic core, foundation of what you're saying, the way your brain works through words and live action puzzle building, essentially, and without any filtration. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've said a lot of words today.
It's fun.
Word count.
3,000. I don't know.
You're gonna have to listen to the whole thing now, and then
I'll put
the word count.
Put up some random numbers.
It's gonna be like 1 million. Our 1 millionth word, guys. Woo! No. I hope that we could take calls in the future. Not now, please.
Please
it's
don't
too
call.
early. Don't call. I'm not even gonna give you the number.
Yeah.
But we do hope that at some point we can get the phone working and we can take calls so that we can talk to our listeners and stuff and see how you guys feel about the creative process. Of course, we'll be answering comments under the podcast and stuff, but I think it's important to include you guys. We've just been sitting here for...
Right. I think it's very important that it's... Although we have no idea, I have no idea what kind of audience we have right now, or how many people listen, or how many people really care.
But I think we appreciate you.
But every single pair of ears right now is appreciated. Once we get, like I said, this podcast edited and up on YouTube and all that, you'll hear the first announcement of it right here. We'll put up all sorts of promotions on our social medias, this and that. But we really want to hear, especially moving forward, we want to hear more of audience, more of what you guys like, what you don't like, and what you want to hear more of. Once we get that podcast up and start commenting away, just don't go too hard, please.
Yeah, because we do have homework.
Yeah, we'll delete comments that are negative and keep the positive ones and do our homework.
We know there's certain things that we suck at.
Yeah, I mean with those little technical difficulties, but I think by
But we thought that you'd appreciate watching us be flustered and struggle.
That's what makes it organic. That's what makes the culture real, and
that's what makes this authentic. Is that we're just real. I don't know. We just went to the library and borrowed 3 cameras.
Yeah, that's literally I think what we're doing is we're just using all the resources that we have access to. Even though it's taken a while, the ability to start a student organization, the ability to have a radio show, the ability to go get cameras and start doing it. We're just using all these resources and okay, let's use this to its fullest potential.
Yeah, we're why
that's
not?
All we can do. Yeah,
that's always it. Why not?
Why not?
Why not go for your dreams?
Right. There's nothing really holding us back right now other than ourselves. Mm-hmm. I think there's KRS-One is a hip hop artist from one of the founding fathers of hip hop, and one of my favorite quotes by him is "Be still, and the culture will come to you." So, pun not intended, but this is essentially the culture
coming to you,
really. And I think there's a lot to be said about that, not only in a musical sense but in a personal sense. Like, if you're still as a human being, if you know your values, you know what you stand for, you know what you're doing, and you stick with it, and you don't, and you just be still, be yourself, be who you are, and be confident in that, and go through and handle everyday life with confidence and with a good attitude. Eventually, what you're trying to do is going to find its way coming back to you. Personally, past 2 years, I've been in a very difficult situation where my anxiety and depression has been through the roof, and I felt very insecure about a lot of things, and it was really shaky, and I felt like I was putting out a lot of negativity and receiving negativity back. But that is until I really started to embrace that feeling of being still, being confident. I feel like that's exactly what we're doing. We're being still in the sense that we know what we're doing, so we're just doing it and not trying to worry about much else.
Yeah.
And in return, we have the ability to do this. And
you don't let life roll over you, but you let life's problems roll over you.
Yeah.
You kind of, it's like, I'm running out of analogies right now, but
that's
like
right.
the way that I picture it is that like you move in silence. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. Like, thanks, Lil Wayne. No, but really, like, you just keep your peace. Don't need to speak your piece. You just keep it to yourself, and you live and let others live and let be. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to say it, but you live your best life. You internally fight your problems, and you just keep being happy or trying to be happy, because in life, that's all that you can do. We're all gonna die someday, and sorry to get so introspective.
No,
with
that's
you,
fine. I'm going to keep going with this introspective until we finish, because I think we're on a good roll. But someone who really hurt me really bad once told me that your happiness will always find a way to end. And I think I've never disagreed with something someone has said more, because I feel life really moves in waves and cycles. You know,
Mm-hmm.
You'll be at a down, and you'll build up, and somehow, some way, things will start crumbling down, and you're gonna fall right back into the cycle, and you have to pick yourself up again, bring it back to the picking yourself up after failure.
But it's not the happiness will always leave,
Right?
because happiness does leave, and happiness does come. But that's the most pessimistic way to look at it.
Right.
That happiness will always leave, because which came first, the happiness or the happiness leaving?
Right.
Chicken or the egg?
Exactly. Yeah, there's something really important about, like, being at that point where you feel like the wave is falling down and you feel like you're in falling. Go with the emotions. Let yourself feel the emotion. You know, don't block out. Don't ball things up and push them away like they don't exist. Instead, feel the emotion, but have the wisdom and have the stillness to know that, okay, this is just one of the cycles. You know, if this bad time isn't going to end, neither is the good time. So it's kind of like, if you imagine it like a wave, and I know the listeners can't see it, but the podcast can. Imagine it like a wave. When you get to this part and you start falling, you can poke your head up above and look at it from
ride the wave.
Right, ride the wave, poke your head up from above and look at it from a bird's eye view, and ride the emotions, feel it, land, and then get back up and keep going.
Ride the next one. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah, there's
because you don't always have to go to the bottom of the wave.
Yeah.
You don't always have to get washed out.
Right.
You can ride it. You can stay on top, and you can circle back around. You want to hear a quote?
Yeah, please do.
You know, YOLO, you only live once?
Yeah.
I saw something the other day where it said, no, you don't only live once, you only die once. You live every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is like one of the most optimistic ways of looking at life, because you could live a different life every day, but you're only going to die once.
Yeah.
So that span of, I don't know, 70, 80, 90, 100 years is dictated by days. And we don't go by years. I'm not going like, oh yeah, when I was 18, that was a good year. Like, you can say that, but was every day good?
Right.
Was every day bad? Like that I've tried to adopt that to a smaller time frame too. Like I'm not gonna let a bad 5 minutes ruin my day. Like I could be upset for a whole day sometimes, but I'm not going to ruin other people's happiness because I feel upset or sad. Like I'm not gonna hold on to it. I'm gonna let it go, and while things can keep bringing me down, I'm just gonna keep looking up and thinking, this is gonna change. The happiness will come back.
Do today what others won't, so you can have tomorrow what others won't. So
right, we have plenty of quotes to make you feel happy and good about yourself.
Right, I think really like as young dreamers, hardworking dreamers like us, it's so important that every single day, what can I do today to keep push me forward? What can I do today to set me in an even better place tomorrow? It's it's a very basic and simple mindset, but at the same time, it's such an integral part. For example, yesterday I woke up and I wasn't really feeling that great, but I wrote a song. I took care of my classes, spent a lot of time studying. I recorded 2 songs in the studio, this and that. I can go on and on and on, but every single day is so packed full of just development, creating, moving forward, taking the next steps. And yeah, by 10 o'clock at night, I'm ready to just die. I'm ready to lay down on my bed and sleep all day. But I wake up at 6 in the morning the next day and right back at it doing this. So, every single day, what can you do to just keep taking the next steps? Yeah,
I mean, we're almost at the end of our time, but the one thing that I'm thinking about is I want to extend not just a thank you for listening, but a shoulder to cry on. Like, once this podcast comes out, you can message us, you can comment, you can let us know, because it's not that we're just people posting, we're people who care. Like, if you need someone to talk to, we're right here. Like, I'm always happy to talk to somebody and just listen, like, because I have plenty of friends who will come to me just so that I can listen. Like, I have plenty to say all the time. Marco knows that.
Yeah,
but
I do too.
I have very good ears when I want to.
Yeah.
When I want to be a listener.
Right. It doesn't mean I have really good ears in class sometimes, but I mean, I think we're artists. We experience a lot of emotions, and we feel we are open to so many different creative ideas because we're artists, and
we're open to the world. Though.
Open to the world.
We've been
different perspectives.
Preparing ourselves to live on a grand stage, to have everything seen by everybody, and with that being a main part of an artist's life, me and Marco do that every single day. We live that persona. Like, I'm Kyle and I'm Gans. Yeah. If you were to talk to me, I'm gonna tell you everything that's on my mind. I'm not gonna hold back. But if I'm listening, I might not say everything that I'm thinking because I'm listening and I'm learning and I'm scheming.
Right.
But
I mean, it's so important to stay humble and kind and keep in mind that we're growing and we're doing stuff, but it's also very important to live like you're already there. Yeah. And live and essentially to
prepare yourself for how you're gonna react.
Right. You gotta because like I walk around every single day with the mentality of I'm a recording artist. I have released albums. I'm on a radio show every Wednesday morning. I'm performing. I'm a recording artist.
I'm a big deal.
Yeah, I'm doing my thing. I'm doing my dream, and and that's I dress like it. I act like it. I speak like it. I walk around like it, and not in a cocky way, not in the super flamboyant, super like I'm just better than everyone.
Happy way.
But in a happy way, in a still way. Yeah. Still, I know what I'm doing, so here's who I am, and the world's gonna have to accept me for it. Mm-hmm. And with that,
we're not gonna leave you. We still have 4 minutes.
We still have 4 minutes.
You might want to leave, Marco.
Well, I don't know.
I'm gonna milk this.
Yeah, I think it's so important, especially if you dream of being someone or something, live like you already have. Just be it. Just do it, and then figure out the rest as you go. So I want to be a recording artist, so I am one, and I live like one, act like one, I talk like one. Even if it makes me feel really different and act different around people, it makes me look different. Who cares? That's what makes it cool, man.
Of course, I have levels to which I open up with people, like
Yeah.
as anybody does. But I'd like to say that I'm myself all the time. I withhold certain things because certain people don't need to know certain things.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. I do not know. I'm happy right now.
That's good. And I think happiness, when you feel happy and you project that happiness out, you make other people happy. You subconsciously allow others to feel said happiness and feel free. Our happiness liberates
I'm
others.
projecting my happiness to all of you listeners right now.
It's turning into an ASMR lesson on happiness.
No, we're not therapists or anything.
No, not at all.
But
I'm happy to
we're
listen.
nice people who care about everybody. And you might think that's not real, that we're just saying that, but I mean, you follow me on Instagram and you DM me, I will answer you.
Yep.
I will listen, I will give you my thoughts. It's Kyle Gans, KYLEGANZ.
Oh, we should do this, yeah. Yeah. My Instagram is MARC_G_music on Instagram. You can find all the music stuff there, but
Well, I gave him my real one, so
oh yeah, my real Instagram is MarkG508, MARCG508 _.
So you realize when you're doing the video now, you're gonna have to like
I have to do two.
toss them up. It's gonna be like bing, bing, bing.
That's true. Yeah, more work. Love it. It's alright. It's gonna be easy.
It's okay.
It's gonna be
I
easy.
can set up the YouTube if you want.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah.
All right, listeners.
All
We'd
right.
like to thank you for such a proactive morning with us, and we hope to hear back from you once we get this up and running. And have a good day. I'm gonna read some ads while Marco cleans up a little bit.
Nice. We love you guys. Thank you.